Very similar to women who intentionally give you bad dating or relationship advice are women who will constantly bring up the fact that you were in an abusive relationship, or bring up the fact that you had an abusive partner, and they will constantly ask, and in a way that's not helpful, but they will constantly ask every time they see you or every so often, have you talked to so and so? Has he or she tried to reach out? What's going on with you guys? You don't miss him? Man, you guys were together for a long time, and just sort of continue to reiterate the fact that you were in a relationship that was unhealthy or abusive to you, and they're doing this in a way that's demeaning and in a way that keeps you stuck and feeling bad about yourself. These are women that are trying to sabotage you and trying to get you to go back to an abusive partner. Hi, my name is Dr. Natalie Jones. I'm a licensed therapist. I've been counseling women and men who have experienced abuse, as well as those who have been perpetrators of abuse and other violent crimes. I want to read off this question by this commenter, and thank you for commenting. In this commenter, she says, yes, I have a cousin who keeps asking me about an ex I dumped every time. She says she liked him for me, despite telling me that he was an abuser and manipulative. Why do you keep saying you liked him for me? And so I'm gonna tell you a few reasons why women do this, and you need to put women in their place when they're doing this, and you need to say, this is a boundary you can set. Like, you know what? You don't need to bring that up anymore. That relationship is over, and I don't want to keep rehashing the past. It's actually very offensive to me when you bring that up. So I don't want to talk about it. Or you can even ask them, why do you keep bringing them up? Why do you keep bringing them up? I don't know if they're going to be honest, but you can certainly ask about that. You can ask about their intentions in bringing that up. So you can sort of facilitate a conversation that way, or you can just nip it in the bud. And if you're like me, you don't care. Why they bring. I don't want to bring it up. I don't want to talk about it anymore. Right? Like we need to move on from that. That person is no longer a part of my life. Like, that is a hard boundary you need to set. No exceptions. Women like this, they bring it up for a number of reasons. The first one is they're male-centered. And male-centered women are fixated on men, even if they know that they are abusive. They like men, and so your cousin could be bringing that up because she might want to visit the connection for herself. She might be into him and wanting to explore that relationship with that man for herself. Two, she could know about some things within the relationship that she kept secret or held behind your back. I don't know, but sometimes there are women that have secrets, like they may know about infidelity. They may have done something already with your ex-partner that they know about that they're not going to tell you about. But these women are typically very sneaky and very underhanded and have no qualms about, getting with someone else's man. So you want to keep a watchful eye on that. Number three, they want to demean you. So people like that want to keep you humbled in a backdoor kind of way. In the way that they keep you humbled is by constantly reminding you that you were in an abusive relationship, and despite all you went through, you still couldn't keep a man, right, that put his hands on you and things like that. So it's a way to sort of bring you back to feeling low and keeping you stuck and making you feel unworthy of love and things like that. So again, be mindful of that. And so there is a personal sort of joy or excitement that certain people get in bringing up, when you had bad times or when you had bad experiences, and they do that to kind of keep you in check. They're secretly in competition with you when they do this because they don't want you to see your worth or your potential. But they want to keep your thinking, your abuse narrative. They want to keep that abuse narrative rampant, and they want to keep that self-esteem and self-worth down. So you want to be careful with that, and set that boundary there. Either way, if you have someone who is doing this and she's not doing it in a way, it doesn't sound like she's doing it in a way that's like, oh, are you okay after that? Do you feel like you're fully recovered? Do you feel like you may need therapy in a way that's sort of helpful and nurturing and that demonstrates that she actually cares about you? It doesn't sound like she's doing that. This is a woman who is poking the bear, right? And she's hoping that you won't call her on it because secretly she's getting off on that. And either way, bottom line is this woman is your enemy. And if you there's a good chance, I don't know you and I don't know this woman, but I do know people, and I do know dynamics with people who do stuff like this. People who do stuff like this isn't usually their first rodeo of hurting you or doing something underhanded or calculated towards you. And I promise you it won't be your last. So you may want to, my advice, you can take it or leave it, is you may want to create a lot of distance and a lot of space from this person because, people who do this, they're not well-intentioned people. They could be manipulative in their own right, and they want to see you hurt. So I don't like that. But that to me, when people are doing that, when they're reminding you of the bad that went on, there's something about that in which they sort of relish in you being hurt and sort of replaying that over and keeping you mentally stuck there. Hope that helps. Thanks. One other thing that I want to mention about women like this, one last trait or characteristic, I guess you could say, women who do this are usually women who also tend to ruminate over abusive exes. So they think that you naturally do it too. So they're gonna talk to you about doing things that they would do. So if they've been in a bad relationship, if they've been with an abusive partner, they still may secretly long for or secretly yearn for an abusive partner, and may even reach out and try to reconnect with their abusive exes. And so they're going to talk to you in a way in which they assume that you too are also like them, and that you may, despite the toxicity or the abuse that went on in the relationship, that you too you too yearn for your abusive ex, and you will just forego your best interest, and you will continue to reach out with him and reconnect and maybe still have sex and do relationship things and all that despite the toxicity. So either way, I go back to what I said, she's telling on herself, she's telling more about who she is, and what she would do in said situation, because other women who are more healed and more evolved, they do not perseverate on exes. They do not continue to bring them up, an abusive ex and things like that. So she may be telling you, I think she is projecting and telling you more about who she is and how she sort of normalized reaching out to abusive exes. Either way, I would say you want to check that behavior and, maybe keep your distance. And, in the future, the one other thing I will say, in the future, you may want to limit, if not altogether, stop telling her your personal business.